What is up, guys? So today I'm here in San Diego to drive the all-new Ford Ranger. So I'm super excited. This is Ford's all-new mid-size truck. So of course it's going to compete with the Chevy Colorado, the Toyota Tacoma, even the Honda Ridgeline. So in this video, I'm gonna go over everything you've wanted to know about this all-new truck. I'm gonna show you the interior, the exterior. I'm gonna take it for a drive on and off-road and show you guys every single detail about this all-new truck. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so starting with the color of this Ranger, this is absolute black. It's basically a gloss black. It doesn't have any metallic flake or anything like that to it. Now this is the Lariat version of the Ranger, and it has the FX4 off-road package. So first of all, it looks great. It's fully decked out, basically every option you can get on this truck. You guys can see the MSRP of this exact truck right here. So it is, a little bit under 50 grand, which is a lot for a mid-size pickup. But as you guys will see, you get a lot of truck for this money. So first thing I do want to say is coming to the front, it does have a Ford design language. So you can definitely tell this is a current generation Ford. Now, of course, it's not going to look like a shrunken down F-150, which I personally like. It has sort of its own look to it. The best thing about this new Ranger though, is it is the only one in the class that has a legitimate steel front bumper. This entire bumper is going to be steel, and for proof, listen to this. Really cool, I really like that. So if you're going through brush or anything like that, you don't have to worry about it scratching or taking out your plastic bumper. So that is a really cool feature. Recovery hooks right here. An area for air to go into your intercooler, because this does have the 2.3 liter EcoBoost. I'll tell you guys about that a little bit later. Ranger up in front, and it has this sort of metallic gray look to it. Now you do have full LED lights on here, so aside from your turn signals, which are going to be just normal halogens, it is going to have an LED daytime running light, LED low and high beams, and LED fog lamps on here. You also have this little area next to the fog lamp that sort of feeds air over the wheels. Pretty cool. You also have a double bulged hood, which looks more on the aggressive side. It does look a little bit more tame, a little bit more soft for a truck, but I do like the wheel arches. They definitely bulge out pretty well here, as you guys can see from the front. Hard to tell in video, but I'm telling you in person, it looks really good, especially this truck that I have right here. So the wheels are 17 inches, wrapped in hand-cooked Dynapro tires. Tires are pretty decently knobby. They're a great mix between on and off-road, so they look really good. One cool thing about the shocks on here, the FX4 shocks have a little kangaroo on them, and Ford engineers said they put that on there because the way the truck articulates reminds them of the way a kangaroo's legs move out in the wild. So just a pretty cool little Easter egg right there for you. Lariat badge here on the side. Mirrors do have blind spot monitors in them. And yeah, it's a really good looking truck. Definitely looks similar to like a Tacoma or a Colorado. Pretty much every truck in this class sort of starts to look the same at certain angles. But I do like the look of this one, probably the best. You have a little area here in the light that actually says Ranger. Ranger back here on the tailgate. Tailgate isn't automatic, so you do have to fold it down, but you do have bed liner back here. And you even have your Ford logo right there. EcoBoost badge over here. You have one exhaust outlet to your right, and then your spare tire underneath right there. All right, so getting into the Ranger, here is your key, your traditional Ford key that is basically in line with every current Ford vehicle. Unlock, lock, press that 2 times for your remote start. Going to have your alarm right here on the back of your Ford symbol, and you also have a button right here, if you guys can see this, that you push that, it'll allow a key to come out, physical key, so you can get into the truck if this dies or if the battery on your truck were to die. So I can get in, lock it using that, and if I come up to the door, you do have touch sensitive areas, so I have a little indent right there. If I put my thumb on there, that will lock it. And then if I put my hand behind, that's going to unlock the truck. Now, one cool thing to note, it does have a really good click sound. So when I open this, it sounds really good. Starting at the door, very, very simplistic. So you have a little bit of tan leather coming right here. You've got a little bit of same colored stitching, if you guys can see that. Window controls, window locks. Going to have your door locks, your door handle here. Bang & Olufsen speaker right up there. Storage space, and then a speaker there. But this is pretty much the only part that's going to be soft touch. This is hard plastic here, and the entire rest of the door is going to be hard plastic. I do have Ranger floor mats here. As you guys can see, you've already got it a little dirty. Your seat controls down here. Now your back tilt is going to be manual, even on this loaded up Lariat trim. And you also have your lighting controls, fog lights, interior illumination, and you have your truck bed light over here to the right, as well as your mirror controls right here. Let's go ahead and hop in, check out the rest of the truck. It is push start, so all you have to do is your push start button is going to be located right here. Once your foot's on the brake, it's going to turn green, and then you push it to start. Starting with the steering wheel, you do have this metallic sort of black coming right here. Looks like a smaller version of like an F-150 steering wheel, which makes sense. Soft bolstering up here, really supple leather. You're going to have this multi-stitched pattern coming here. Now these controls are going to control this screen here. Now if you guys are familiar with this screen, it's basically in almost all of the new Ford products, so it's very easy to use. The right side is going to be all my entertainment, phone commands, things like that. Speedometer in the middle, what gear I'm in, and then over here you have different things like your tack, your fuel, your water temperature, what angle you're at. You guys can see that there. Miles per hour, speedometer, tire pressure, average speed, distance till empty, all the cool things that you need to see. Now coming down here, you do have all of your settings for cruise control. Over here to the right, you have all of your settings for your Bluetooth, volume, previous, next, things like that. So very simple layout. Wiper is going to be back here. Over here to the left, you have your lighting controls. And then over here on the end, you're gonna push that button for your lane keep assist or lane departure warning. So it will activate both of those. Now coming over here, you do have some soft leather lining the dash with stitching right here. A little area to sort of put your phone. You have a speaker up here for your Bang & Olufsen sound system. Sound system on here sounds really good. You do have this glossed black area here that says Ranger. It is going to be just plastic, but it looks good in person. Trust me when I say videos don't do it justice. It's usually the case with most vehicles, but definitely the case of this Ranger. It looks a lot more quality in person. You do have your normal sync system here. I'm not gonna go super in depth with this because this has been a system on the current generation Ford vehicles, at least for the past 4 or 5 years. Nothing has changed here. You have your audio, you have your settings, different heated seats on both front passengers. You don't have cooled seats on here. Hazards down here. You have dual zone climate control, so you are able to activate that. And then you also have other buttons here to turn on your heated seats. So you can either do it through the screen or by pushing these buttons here. 2 12 volts, 2 USBs there, which they have blocked off because they have our route to get back to an event we have later, so they don't want to turn on the Apple CarPlay, which this does have, because it will mess with the route guidance. But you do have USB ports 2 right there to do Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have buttons down here, so this button is going to be for your trail control, which is basically crawl control for Ford. You have your automatic start-stop button, your rear locking diff, which you can activate using this here. You have a trailer control, you have parking sensors, and you're going to have traction control right here. Different settings, you can go 2 high, I can go 4 high, and then of course all the way up will take me into 4 low. My traction or my terrain management system, so if I hit that button, it'll take me through normal, grass, gravel, snow, mud ruts, and then sand. So you don't have like a sport mode per se or anything like that. To put it into sport mode, you just have to pull it all the way down into the S, just like that. Drive, neutral, reverse will pull up your backup camera, which is a decent backup camera. It is a little bit on the grainy side, but you have parking sensors and you have a line here in the middle to hook you up to a hitch. park, and then these buttons here will help you switch through your gears. You also have a little bit of leather here, some nice chrome accenting right here, and then leather right here. It's a really sturdy, strong feeling shifter. Feels really good, and you have your shift boot right there. You do have cup holders here. You also have an actual e-brake, which I haven't seen in a while, so you do have that, which is nice. Now your armrest is a little bit longer on the driver's side for obvious reasons, so I can rest my arm right there, but I still have a little bit of room for a passenger to put their arm there as well. Lift that up and have a okay amount of storage space. You have this super tiny little area here. I'm not sure what you'd put there, maybe coins, but you do have that, but you don't have anything to put inside. You don't have any kind of ports or chargers or anything inside of there. Glove box over here, which you can still lock, so it has a lock on there. Auto dimming mirror going up top. Sunglass holder. Now you don't have a sunroof, unfortunately. And then you have your lights up here, which they look like they're going to be LEDs. Home link right up here, and then you have your vanity mirror with a card holder right there. And it does slide out as opposed to having a little card thing right there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the front seat. Let's go ahead, hop in the back seat, and check out the room. All right, so sitting in the back seat of the Ranger, I've got a decent amount of room. So I'm 6 feet tall, sitting behind myself. It does have an indent in the back of the seat, so that's gonna give me about, let's say 2.5 inches of legroom back here, which is decent for a mid-size pickup. I do have a ton of foot room though, so my feet can easily slide underneath here, no big deal. Getting in and out isn't a big issue as well. It's not a super high jump, so you don't need a step or anything, especially if you're not on the tall side. My headroom is good. So my headroom, I have about 3.5 inches, about 3 inches or so, maybe 3.5 inches of headroom. So it's pretty good, and I'm 6 feet tall with big hair, so that works. Now coming to the middle, you are going to have a armrest right here, which if you fold this down, it does have actually a little click, so you have to pull it and it'll unclick. But you have 2 cup holders here. You have a really soft armrest area right here. You are going to have 2 USB ports here. So if you guys can see that, you've got 2 USB ports, and then you are going to have a traditional house plug right here. So you have a 110 volt house plug. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You have a handle here with an area to put like dry cleaning. So you have hooks back here as well, which is pretty standard. And yeah, the materials, pretty hard touch materials. You do have your little mini soft touch armrest, which is like the tiniest armrest I've ever seen. Other than that, it's pretty simple. I believe you cannot fold the seats up. I can try again. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Yes, you can. So if you fold the seats up, you do have storage space underneath here. Pretty deep pockets here as well. One over here as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the back seat. Let's go ahead and check under the hood and see what powertrain we have. All right, so under the hood of the Ford Ranger sits a 2.3 liter turbocharged V6. It is Ford's 2.3 EcoBoost engine. It's going to make 270 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot of torque. That is actually the most torque in the segment, which is a huge plus. You do have about 7,600 pounds of towing weight. You guys can see the exact number here. I do apologize, I've had a ton of information coming at me today. But you do have that. You can also see the fuel economy figures here on the screen. It is hooked up to a 10-speed automatic transmission, so it's the same 10-speed you'll find in the F-150, in the new Mustang GT. It's also the same transmission you'll find in the Raptor and in the Camaro ZL1, since GM and Ford did build this transmission together. So it's a really good transmission, as you guys will see in just a moment. This is, of course, the FX4 package, so it does have rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive if you choose to put it into 4 high, 4 low, things like that. But let's go ahead and get on the road and see how it does. All right, so driving the all-new Ford Ranger. So first thing you notice is it feels very sporty for a truck. Now, obviously, that's due to the fact that it's much smaller than something like an F-150. Obviously, this is a mid-size as opposed to being a full-size truck. But it drives really good out here on some really, really twisty roads in California, and it does extremely well. As you guys can see, it's got some pretty good turns in it. And I'm going at a pretty good pace. I'm going about 50, 55 miles an hour, and it handles really well. So very impressed with that. Now, like you guys already saw on the engine, so this makes 270 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of twisting force, and you can really feel it when you put your foot down. It's got some good push, it's got some good torque. Sounds really good, so Ford is pumping in a little bit of noise to make it sound a little bit better. Now, once again, usually in some situations, I'm not really a huge fan of that, but if it sounds good, why not? And in this case, it actually sounds pretty good. So one other thing I do want to note is the pedals and everything, definitely a little bit more on the lighter side. Now, obviously, this is a truck. Don't expect it to have extremely crisp, throttle response or very touchy brakes or anything like that. Everything's very progressive. So it does have a little bit of a, I guess you can call it a little bit of a travel before the brakes actually start to grab, but it does, in a sense, give you a good linear pedal feel, which is great. And you don't have a quote-unquote sport mode. You can push a button to put it in. All you do is you pull the gear lever back one, and it'll basically hold your RPMs a little bit higher. But it does hold your revs pretty high, keeps you right in the meat of the power band, just right in the really torquey range of the engine, and it gives you a really good amount of push. So we also have a 10-speed automatic transmission, which is the same automatic transmission from the F-150 and of course other vehicles like the new Mustang. It is a co-developed transmission, so Ford and General Motors did produce that transmission together. Works really well. So right now I'm cruising in 6th gear, and I have plenty of torque to get me moving. Now it just shifted into 7th. Now I'm in 8th, and then if I give it full gas, we'll see how long it takes to downshift. So all the way down and threw it right into 4th, and plenty of power. It's really good. But yeah, very good handling truck. So as far as on-road impressions, it's very good. Handles really well. It's great to drive. It's comfortable. It's really supple drive feel. Doesn't beat you up or anything like that. And yeah, so let's go ahead and see how it does off-road. All right. Nice.
Make a right here, and there are some humps going up the hill to make it so that you lose some traction.
Ah, this is pretty steep. This is doing a good job though. This is only in 4 high, right?
Yes.
Nice.
It's a nice flat plateau.
Yeah.
Safe.
Cool.
You can see it with the
Yeah. This is awesome.
And, nice left here, and then this next left will be a tight one, and it goes into a natural water runoff down the hill. So as you get down, the ruts
that's
and
pretty
such
steep.
will get worse. So
There we go. Nice. Yeah, it's doing pretty good. It feels good.
line meter works.
Okay.
You okay?
You expect me to drive this?
You can do it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just parts of it.
And then this next hill on the right is actually more tame than the first one. Not a lot of deep ruts, so I mean you can just go as fast as you feel comfortable.
Cool.
And this will take you right into a field.
Perfect.
Put it to the floor if you'd like, but then just beware. We gotta slow down at the end for a large dip. So.
Okay. Sweet. Nice.
So, slow down and ease into this dip here. Just give you some off camber.
Right. Yeah, this is super steep. There we go.
So the trail control button is at the top left.
Let's see.
In the little cluster there.
Right here.
That one.
So I'm gonna push trail control.
And then you'll use the set buttons on the steering wheel to set your speed.
Mm-hmm.
We've been taking it about, how about you hit OK to get rid of that seatbelt.
There we go.
We've been taking it about 4 miles an hour.
Okay.
And then now you can take your feet off the brakes and the gas and just steer up the hill.
Oh.
Nice.
And it'll maintain your 4 miles per hour.
Yeah, my foot's off of everything and it's just
crazy.
doing itself, yeah. So the biggest difference between this and the Tacoma and the crawl controls, it doesn't have that really loud brake grabbing noise, which is great. And it does a good job.
And in 4 high, you can go from 1 to 20 miles per hour. And in 4 low, you can go from 1 to 10 in half mile per hour increments. And then just watch out for them and taking photographs, but I mean, feel free to take these as comfortably as you'd like.
Nice.
If you go slow enough, then you can watch the off-road screen in the center there, and you can see it hit about 23 degrees, I believe.
Wow. Yep, 23 for sure.
I think I've seen it hit even 25 at one point.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty up there.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh. It's crazy.
Right about the sign here, you just punch it through.
Cool. Nice. That was pretty good. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching my review of the 2019 Ford Ranger. Ford seriously outdid themselves on this midsize truck. It felt as solid as can be, and everything about it felt a lot more quality than I initially expected going into it. The only negative is the FX4 off-road shocks feel very busy on the road. Other than that, you get great amounts of storage space. You're going to get some of the greatest looking materials inside of the cabin. You get best-in-class payload, best-in-class towing, some of the best fuel economy figures out there. And did I mention it looks incredible with a tent hooked up to it? Other than that, the only thing that can make this better is, well, I think you guys can guess. But thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, be sure to like this video if you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next video.